Hello, and welcome back to Damn Davi. I am your host, Davi Aki, and we have made it to episode 3. Wow, yep, I know, giddy up, buckle up. As you can start to feel, as I'm feeling, I'm starting to relax a little bit on this microphone, so, certain things are going to definitely be more honest, more free, more me, because that's the whole point of this host segment. This 3-part segment was all about things that are very important to me. Hot topics, yes, but also meaningful things to the makeup of who I am, my DNA. We started with fear, then we went to faith, and now, welcome, grab a plate, get comfy, to family. So, before we get into all of that, let me see, any updates? We are in the new year. Happy New Year to everyone. 2025. I know. We made it. Today is the 3rd. So, I wanted to hit you all up on the first Friday of 2025. I was going to do a New Year's Eve one, but, I really wanted to kind of see where the energy was going to continue in the new year. So we're here. We made it. This is the first hump. So thank you for coming back again. I know you're going to be like, please stop saying that, but gratitude is here, right? Like, last I looked at some of my numbers on Spotify, we're up to 25, consistent subscribers, and downloads. So I'm super excited. I'm super happy to just continue on with you guys and gals and theys and thems and all of us. Speaking of that, that leads us into family. So I wanted to start this episode to honor my members of my family who have passed in the past few years. This episode is to honor them, especially my grandmother, who, as mentioned in previous episodes, me and my family, we lost her last December, and the year anniversary came up. I definitely honored her. I honor her sister, who passed no more than a year prior. And my other great aunt as well within that same amount of time. So I honor you all, May, Essie, Vera. I honor my family, both sides, my father's, my mother's. I can't exist without either. And it is far too many on both sides to name, but I honor you all in this episode, in this new year. This new year of transformation, of taking chances, of doing things differently. I honor you all. And with that, I get to tell you all the fun, exciting, and kind of wild things that kind of make up my family. As mentioned before, Jehovah Witness is our main faith. So I come from an experience of, I guess, being faith focused, but also just having family members that were very talented. My mother, she sings for fun. My dad, he plays guitar. Both of my brothers do DJing and production. So, the arts are in the family, but unfortunately with the faith, we have not been able to just kind of all come together and create. So, I if I could put that on my resentment list, that would be on the top, because I would love to just do like John Legend did in his first album. Like just have all my family on one song, and we just whatever condition your voice is in or your skills are, like just come to the table and let's just do something together. Fingers crossed. Maybe that'll be something I'll put on my list to push for 2025. So coming soon, a Smith family track. Yeah. So, but family is, it's important. Family definitely consists of a lot of bumps, a lot of rocky moments, but a lot of just memorable moments. Like I think about the moments, actually, this is a very funny story. Before doing the podcast today, I had a weird, I guess, tug towards my heart to be like, I wonder which hospital in Blue Island, Illinois. Shout out to the suburbs. But I was trying to find out what the name of the hospital was that I was born out there. So I go to my birth certificate and come to find out I am not a Blue Island kid. I am a Cook County kid. Born right there off 75th. It's now a community health center for women, men, wellness, etc. But wow, I've always, like, it's crazy because it's like you have that one family member that's like, oh yeah, you was the one that was born at Blue Island Hospital. Yeah. And then it's like you just take that with you. You're just like, okay, because y'all remember, y'all been around, y'all know which kid is which, right? Like family should know that. No, they be just shooting in the dark. Like, and and I love it though, because it gets us to ask questions. That's why I think 23andMe, and which this episode is not sponsored by any of them, but Ancestry, what was the other one? Oh gosh. There's other ones that are just, really awesome with trying to track history and connections and family and things like that. So, yeah, like I think that's why those systems are put into place, because we used to write it down. We used to be oral with telling our story and our history, and now we have to document it, but it has to be on a virtual level so we can kind of really stack up all the pieces, which is a good thing. But I just get nervous when it comes to virtual placement, because if access to it ever is disrupted, then what's your backup? What's our written form that we just passing out or sending out? Like, is it a flash drive we send out every Christmas? Like, hey, new updates, because some folks have babies. We want to update the family tree. Like, maybe that could be a thing, or because to do a large Google Drive would be nuts. But let me not trail off. Let me not digress. But this episode about family is important because, I guess this will just tell more about myself, but I am currently living in Los Angeles, going on, it'll be 6 years come next May. Come this May, actually, upcoming May. So, gratitude, growth. Finally feel like I'm on a trajectory, or finally feel like I'm doing what I've been speaking, so here we go. Buckle up. But yeah, so, I have been out here for that amount of time and have been single pretty much the entire time. And, a date here or there, what have you. But as mentioned in the last episode, I just hopped over another milestone, 35, and I'm, you know, well, you don't know, I guess. Well, let me tell you. But I think I'm ready to, well, not I think, I am ready to start attracting energies that match mine. Just, yeah, to date, to coexist, to grow, to learn. I'm 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 putting my life into a position that very thing is, there's space for it. There's room for love. Express love. Like, I definitely show it to family. I show it to friends. I show it in my work. I show it in my career. I try to show it in my message, in my writings, in my art, and what I connect with. But yeah, like, I think I'm ready to have it in physical form. Sometimes I've said to myself, "Oh, let's get a dog." No. And I'll tell you this, like, I've lived with multiple people with pets at this point in my life. And, they're so darling. They're so loving. But having the ability to just step back and just be like, oh, you have to do this every day. Oh, twice a day. Ooh. Like, and some people were doing it in 6-7 floor walk-ups. Like, like, everybody don't have a yard. Everybody don't have a park nearby. Like, folks, pets are to be catered to. And, I've had fish, and that's worked well. I've had snails, which has worked well. Except for that one time where, oh, gosh. Back down memory lane. So there was one time when I had a fish tank, and we had snails in it and fish, goldfish. Apparently, this type of snail eats these type of goldfish or fish, and next thing you know, they're flipped upside down with some, like, slime or whatever on them. Not to be graphic. Parental advisory warning. But anywho, so that happened. So then we got new fish, and these snails weren't killing those fish. So I was like, okay, great. Some time goes by. Usually my parents or my older brothers was cleaning the tank, but this time I was asked to do it. So I knew how to do the essentials, but I was like, man, I want to make sure it really shines, right? So I added soap to the tank. By the time my mother gets there, she's like, "Oh my goodness, what is all these suds on the top? What happened? It's starting to, like, bubble over." I'm just like, I cleaned it. You told me to clean it. Like, when you called, you said take the meat out, clean the fish tank, and then, nobody else was here, so I was like, let me just knock it out, right? Let me just knock it out. Knock it out. I got it in the bag. Oh no. That fish, those fishies was like, goodbye. My mother was like, it's either you or the snails got to go. Get it in order. But to tell you that story is to tell you, like, just kind of how I operated in my family. Like, I was always, like, quite literal, but very silly, very personality. Everybody in my family is very much a jokester. Top to bottom, even the extensions of our family are all jokesters. Down the lineage, both sides of the family, like, everybody is good for a joke. So, for me to take it so literal is it's funny. Like, there was a time where, I love Michael Jackson, and I don't know I don't know if it was an aunt just playing a trick on me. Probably my Aunt Sandy, thinking about it, but just because she's just so funny. Like, her or my mother was always just like, oh, you sound just like Michael Jackson. He could be your daddy, like your real daddy. And it would be funny because, like, as a child growing up, I would look at my parents and I'd be like, I don't really look like y'all like that. Like, I see certain features. Like, a lot of people say I look like my father. I think I look more like my mother. But people say that my brothers definitely look like my mother, which I'll take that. And I do see the older I get, I have more features like my father, especially when it comes to like just facial features and definitions. But it's yeah, like it's yeah, to be told like Michael Jackson could be your real daddy, and then I look at his features and I'm just like, I might actually look like Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson might actually be my daddy. So then when he passes, you can imagine boo-hooing to the gods. I almost had to get sent home early from school. Like, it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. I had to call my mother. She's like, he's not really your father. You know your father's really your father. Like, please don't be silly, child. Not in front of all these people. And I'm just like, but y'all told me. Y'all told me. This is what you told me. Like, how am I at fault? How am I at fault? But you know, we grow up, we digress, and we blossom forth. Like, you know, that's why I always preface and always return to, like, my family is full of jokesters. And you'll notice, like, sometimes you'll find me taking a swing at a joke here or there, because I am the youngest of 5, 2 half sisters, 2 older brothers. Even my niece is older than me. Like, I am stamp gullible, right? And then on top of other things, because if you go back to the faith episode, you'll understand like how my upbringing really impacted the filter to my access to information. So the layers, right? But this isn't therapy. I promise my therapist that this podcast is not gonna be therapy. It's gonna feel therapeutic. Come on. Release. If you relate, release. But anywho, but yeah, like, just family. They really mold you. They really show you how to really connect with people outside of yourself, how to be a unit, how to think collectively, how to think for, like, I'll be honest, and you know, this is my podcast, so I can be as vulnerable as I want to, but honestly, I really feel like I have a lot of wisdom and influence in my family. Thankfully, I get that trait from my grandmother. Like, she was just like she did the research. She was just like, listen, or if she didn't, she would go to my first aunt and she would just be like, hey, double check on this. Like, I'm on the fence. Like, they were a unit. So I take a lot of pride and honor in knowing that, like, when it came to certain things, when it came to the final days of my grandmother, before her passing, just speaking to other family members, getting things in order for just people to consolidate, to really make wise choices, to check documentation, to see what was the agreement, what was the understanding, what is next, instead of just keeping large properties and just for people to try and look after, and it's not worth it. Like, they can always reinvest. We can always reconnect as a full family with double the support and do even more. Like, there's a lot of legacy in Chicago, and you know, I am down to a few family members that still live back home in Chicago, but I have family all over the United States, like the South, the North, the East, and the West. So we gonna reconnect. We gonna always show love. We gonna always be a family at the end of it, and through it all. So I'm really grateful for the people that I've been brought into this world to be with, despite certain factors, certain things, certain beliefs, certain frictions, certain roller coasters, we all then went through, because they definitely had to buckle up with me, because I was a handful growing up. Like, thing after thing after thing after thing. It was a year after year after year thing. Like, I had this terrible, we'll dive into that in another episode. When we go into Davi's accident reel. Gosh, I was accident prone for a little bit, but hey, we on the other side of that. But yeah, so I'm grateful for family, blood by blood, but I'm also grateful for, chosen family. I was connected to a lot of youth groups growing up. Shout out to National Youth Pride Services with Frank Walker. He definitely helped me develop a lot of attributes for myself as a young man, finding myself, finding my identity, and finding myself in community and how to give back to community in my youth. He was the first one to give me a chance to be like an office administrator, to do youth newspapers, youth recruitment, advocacy, he definitely taught me how to be a member of my society in Chicago. So I definitely give him a shout out for what he did for me in my youth. I want to just, I want to shout out my chosen family in Chicago, my brothers, wherever we stand on the spectrum of close or distant, either proximity or just connection at this time. Just know that there's love. There's love to my foes, and y'all aren't necessarily foes, but a lot of people that just maybe I'm not seeing eye to eye right now. We're growing apart, and we're understanding the world differently right now. There's nothing wrong with that, but we have the power to choose. And we have to live with those choices as well, but we also have to be able to grow from those choices as well. So if choosing to stay isn't a choice for growth, then sometimes you have to make another. So shout out to chosen family. Shout out to all of yours. And that brings me back full circle to the fact that I think I'm ready to start building a family. 35 is relatively young for most folks, and being single for over most of my 30s, I guess you could say, is really putting me in a space of saying okay, I'm ready to make certain choices, certain decisions in order to place myself in a comfortable situation to start building a family, having kids or a child. We can start with one. Let's start with one. But yeah, I think it's time to start, building legacy and impact. And, I want to dip the toe and start the ripple for what is going to be left behind. So Damn Dobby will be the first installment of that as it grows in 2025. I'm super excited that you all are a part of this segment. The Fear, Faith, and Family segment, getting to know Davi Aki. The next segment is actually going to be a Letting Go segment, which is embracing the new single, Letting Go. That is available on all streaming platforms, Tidal, Amazon Music, Apple Music, everywhere. It's on YouTube, it's on Spotify, it's everywhere. You heard me? It's even on SoundCloud. Check it out. Letting Go. And that series is Letting Go series is going to be featuring moments around letting go. If you like, please feel free. Send in anything that you're letting go, like be it for the year as a New Year's resolution or just from your life, like anything that you're just trying to like. I'm trying to let go of 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds. Like I'm trying to let go of fear. I'm trying to let go of doubt. But yeah, send it in. And, I want to do these episodes a little more frequently. So if you send them in, I'll make an episode. Every time y'all send one in, I'll make a new episode. Hopefully I can keep up with that. Yes. So, or I could do it weekly. Actually, I might do it weekly. We might bump this girl up to a weekly function. Get your good shoes. Bring out the kid in the house. Yeah, more to come for Damn Davi. So looking forward for y'all to continue with us on the next segment, the letting go era. And I can't wait to tell you guys more. I start the yoga classes soon, so that's gonna be exciting. I know you're probably thinking Davi does the most. But you have no idea. We are just getting started. So thank you again for checking in at Damn Davi. I'm your host, Davi Aki, signing out. And until next time, au revoir. Bye-bye.